What's going on, guys? I know I'm a little late to the party with the whole Fousey thing. Happened a couple days ago. I'm up north and enjoying a little bit of time off, but was on the interwebs this morning and got into that circle of thoughts, circle of talking, and just looking at what's going on in the social media world. And we saw Fousey do an event on July 15th that clearly did not go in the direction that it was planned, that God planned it and all that. Maybe it did go in the direction that God planned it according to Fousey, but I started making a video earlier reacting to like the situation at hand. But there's a lot of reactions out there. Very quickly, just going over it, if you haven't seen, there's very good podcast, a crazy podcast really. When you look at the big picture and look at sad podcast and a lot of signals in that podcast, the No Jumper podcast. Shane was on it. I think all the faces that he was showing show exactly how shocked and confused he is and doesn't know really how to respond. Sam Pepper went in there. Apparently he got detained at Fousey's event. That apparently something he kind of related Sam's bomb threat on Fousey, and I don't really know all the details there. I don't think everyone knows all the details. But anyways, he got detained in a police car for like 3 hours. And then there's the event itself, in which he kept saying Drake will be there. And he thought it was okay to kind of say that if he saw Drake. If he was face to face with Drake, that pretty much meant that he was going to kind of appear at his event, which, and like comparing that to like, for example, my world, like fitness world, for example, if I created a fitness expo and I was like, oh yeah, the Mountain will be there, Brian Shaw will be there, Daniel Lynn Bailey, Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, all these like big fitness stars, I'd be like, oh yeah, then Christian Guzman will be there, or Steve Cook. We'll have I don't even know who else. We'll have Michelle Lowen, all the big players. And then no one shows up. And it's okay that they didn't show up because I've met them before. Then, like I said, I was reacting to everything. Then it just, the big thing is, and the big signal here is, we need to talk about this. It's been clear over the years with a lot of events, a lot of things that Fousey has done that, and he's admitted to this, as he's bipolar, and he is in a clear manic state, and it's just going to get worse if it's not controlled, if he doesn't get help. This is where his fans need to come into play. And again, I'm not a doctor, and if you're a hardcore Fousey fan watching this, then great that you're a fan and great that you appreciate his work, but you have to understand the situation at hand. You have to understand this guy is not himself. He's sick. This is my opinion, of course. Like I said, not a doctor, but I've gone through the situation where I have, my dad has gone through it, and he's not been himself when he's in manic state. And it's, you don't think rationally. You think totally irrationally. You see different things, you hear different things, and you do not behave like yourself. Now, this, if it's not clear by the actions that we're seeing online, Fousey's not behaving like himself, right? That is a clear indication by all his actions right now. Or he's not behaving like a normal person. Maybe this, obviously there is always some reality, some Fousey in there, and that's, some of his normal personality is in there because that's who he is. Maybe he does want to share positivity, maybe he wants to share kindness around the world, but it's clearly being done in the wrong way, and there's different messages being shown, and maybe he's hearing different things from God. We don't know, but what is very clear is that he is not all there, and he needs some help. And I think the biggest thing, obviously, is parents need to help out. His fans need to showcase this, but the most important thing is Fousey needs to understand this and really just get some help. I'm coming from a good place. I'm not trying to attack you whatsoever, but you definitely make irrational decisions. I'm not trying to be a dick whatsoever. I'm really not. You know, in beginning of January, we started talking about suicide. Logan Paul did his Suicide Forest thing, and then I guess he got forgiven by doing a suicide video. But the good part is about all of that is that a lot of us did start talking about suicide and suicide prevention. Mania and bipolar and manic depressive disorder is an illness and needs to be talked about. You know, there's a lot of people out there that suffer from it. Depression and bipolar, you know, they're in the same category of mental illness, right? Just because somebody acts down or just because somebody has a lot of energy and acts up, it's still a mental illness, right? And this stuff needs to be addressed. And you know, some people don't even realize that they have a problem, especially when they're in that state. When they're in that state, they have this mental high. They have so much energy, and they just don't realize that they are going. They don't realize what they're saying. They don't realize, you know, seriously, they don't understand what they're doing. They don't see, you know, they just feel great, and they just want to keep going. And it's not a good thing. Sometimes, obviously, you know, having the energy, you know, sometimes there's brilliant minds out there that do some amazing things being in this state. But right now, he is not in an amazing state. He is not, you know, trying to think. He does not think clearly. And, you know, I'm not trying to do this video to get... One important thing that I want to mention. I'm not trying to do this video to get attention, to get views or anything like that. I'm just speaking my opinion. This is why I'm putting it on my vlog channel, not putting this on my main channel. If I want to get views, I would put it on my main channel. But I'm not trying to get that. That is not my intention whatsoever here. I hope that Fousey watches this. Maybe he won't. Maybe he will. Maybe others will. Maybe others that are going through this issue understand that this is not okay, that there's help out there. There's help out there for these mental illnesses. Medication, therapy. There's different ways of going about it, and it's really important for us to really address this issue. I don't know which month of the year is Mental Awareness Month, but it really should be right now as we're facing this, as we're dealing with this, because this is very alarming. There's a lot of young kids that are watching Fousey's channel and watching all these events, and they think maybe they think that this is cool. Maybe they think he's a psycho, and they're not really seeing the big picture. They're not seeing exactly what is going on. This is my opinion. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe he's just, you know, he's putting on an act in some sort of way. I don't know. Maybe it's an attention-seeking act, but maybe he's also, you know, gone down this rabbit hole in which he can't get out because he started in such a way, he promised all these things, and now he really maybe just doesn't know what to do. But based on his, like, the biggest indication, I think, was watching this No Jumper podcast, and based on all his reactions to everyone, especially when he knows he is wrong, or like when, you know, like he just got kind of destroyed in an argument, based on his reactions to those arguments, that's like a clear indicator of what I've seen in the past, and, you know, of mania, of how people react. I remember my dad reacting in these kind of absurd ways, and it's not him, you know. It's just he's in a different world, in a different mind state, and, you know, those people are always right, and there's no convincing them otherwise. I know that I'm just talking and rambling, but I really think that, you know, we need to address, one, the Fousey needs some help, and not necessarily always just attack him, and two, address, you know, have an awareness campaign. We had a suicide awareness campaign, and I think it's time to do something towards bipolar and mental illness, because it's really important. It kills a lot of people. You know, one leads to suicide. Depression leads to suicide. Bipolar can lead to suicide. Mental illness can lead to suicide. It can lead to troubling families. It can break apart families. It can do a lot, right? And you know, I think it's really important that we address this, and not just attack it and make more videos about it and make fun of it and all that, because this is a problem that just needs to be dealt with. Hopefully YouTube even addresses it, but I have no idea if that will actually be the case. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you guys think I'm correct. Let me know if you guys think I'm totally wrong. I would like to hear your thoughts, but yeah, I just felt like I needed to talk about this based on my experience, based on my just know how much it's affected, for example, my life when my dad was like that. It's not fun. It's not cool. But I also understand that it can be dealt with, and I feel like this could as well. Anyways, catch you guys later. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you so much for all your love. You guys stay hungry.